Hello everyone and welcome to this new CATIA Design Talk, the format where our experts will introduce you to the countless possibilities of designing, editing, and visualizing your project in CATIA. For designers and engineers, visualization is a crucial point of the design workflow when it comes to validating the final product. They need to accurately assess the result by taking into account surfaces, interior and exterior aspects, materials, or colors. And in addition, there is an increasing need for concrete immersion into the product by experiencing a one-on-one scale to validate each of its aspects. This is why good virtual reality tools, especially headsets, are key to help them to reach their objectives. To cover this VR topic today, I have the pleasure of welcoming Miika Jokinen, Head of Software Integrations and Partnerships at Varjo, and Reiter, CATIA Product Experience Portfolio Manager. Hello guys.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Thank you very much for joining us today. Miika, do you want to introduce yourself and then Michael will follow?
Yeah, absolutely. Good to meet you, everyone. My name is Miika, and I work for the company Varjo. We are a Finnish mixed reality headset maker. And myself, I've been working with Varjo since 2018 and been working very closely with industrial designers and engineers in how they can elevate their design processes and engineering processes and have those to be faster with mixed reality. And some of the key blockers in using mixed reality in the design process have been the quality of devices, but also the compatibility of software with those devices. And happy to say today that we have announced a new product called XR4 series earlier this year. That is a very high resolution mixed reality device. And we are also finally have the compatibility with the 3D experience platform and the CATIA software. So looking forward to talking more about how you can elevate your designs with this technology and combination of technology.
My name is Michael Reiter, and I'm a member of the CATIA Design Portfolio team, where I'm in charge of the product management for our VR enabling roles for 3D experience in general, as well as the VR and mixed reality part of our application product design experience.
All right, thank you very much, guys, for this introduction. Before we start, I would like to remind viewers that they can ask their questions directly in the chat during the session, as we'll take some time to answer them at the end. Let's move on now and start with you, Miika. Can you introduce us to the VR headset we're interested in today for our case study, the XR4 series?
Yeah, absolutely. So today I will briefly, just for a few minutes, talk about the XR4 series, which is a new series of mixed reality devices we announced earlier this year or late last year. And I'll talk specifically about some of the key things why the device works for engineers and industrial designers, and particularly with the 3D experience platform. Let's talk a little bit first about the displays and the lenses and how it allows you to get this crisp clarity which you need for making design decisions. So we have introduced, for instance, aspheric lenses in the product, which gives you better clarity than traditional Fresnel lenses or pancake lenses. We have also 4K high resolution displays, which allows you to see smallest textures and being able to read text and being able to see those small details which you need in your designs. And we also have a wide color gamut and high contrast ratios, which allows you to have make correct design decisions. And then finally, we also have a wide field of view, 120 degrees horizontally and 105 degrees vertically. So it allows you to see your virtual objects in their full size thanks to the wide field of view. We have also added some ergonomics components compared to traditional VR headsets, such as automatic interpupillary distance adjustment. So what it does, it moves the lenses in the device automatically for each individual user making it much more comfortable to use, and you get less sickness when you have this individualized pupil distance in the device. And these things are unique to the Varjo device. Then let's quickly talk about the mixed reality and the video pass-through. So we have two cameras in the device that you can see in the front, and then we have a LiDAR sensor in the front as well. And what we are doing with those is that we are capturing the surrounding reality around you, and then bringing and mixing that with the virtual reality objects. So what that allows you to do is that you can put your virtual objects in your real surrounding, and then you can see how it compares when it comes to scale, and how it sits around the environment you're designed. So that is super important, and we have high resolution 20 megapixel cameras there to make it look realistic. We have also introduced a new feature called autofocus, and that is similar to what you have in the camera technology in the mobile phones. The cameras allow you to focus to objects in the real world at different distances. And this is unique to the Varjo device, and you're not able to do this with other mixed reality devices in the market. So that allows you, for instance, to have real panels or dashboards or things like that, and then augment those with virtual objects. So this is very, very good for those purposes. We also have inside-out tracking, so you can see 4 cameras in the corners of the device, and that allows you to move freely without having to use external tracking systems. If you need to track wider spaces and move in a big hall, for instance, many automotive designers, for instance, need to have design reviews in a big hall environment, and then you might want to opt for something like OptiTrack or ART or Steam VR, which you can use also with this device. And then finally, just to highlight, we have integrated audio, microphones and spatial audio, which allows you to do collaborative sessions and things like that with the device, which is very good. And then we have our own controllers there as well to modify your designs and interact with your designs there. But that's very briefly some of the key specs with the Varjo technology and why it's such a good device for working with a 3D experience platform and making your designs better.
All right. Thank you for this introduction regarding the XR4. It's very complete and it looks very powerful. So I'm looking forward to see the capabilities. With you, Michael, can you show us now some concrete example of this headset, of its usage in CATIA's 3D experience? I think you wanted to present it in a color and trim review context first, right?
Yes, we'll start with a color and trim example. So here we've applied a couple of materials with fine detail on a sample shape. And this is really where the strengths of the XR4 series come into play. Due to the very good optical system, it's possible to make decisions on minor details such as the weaving pattern of this fabric or slight irregularities and patterns on this material, on this metal material. So not only can you judge how well different colors work together, but you can really make a decision on very minor material differences. So you could validate different leathers that just have a slightly different grain, for instance. And all of these you can still very well judge inside the headset. So where with other devices, you might have a certain amount of blur that makes it difficult to make those decisions. With the Varjo XR3 and XR4 series headsets, you can really make such validations in a very reliable way.
So yeah, this means we have the same visualization possibilities as on desktop with the materials and details validations for all data. But with VR, you have extra capabilities with a greater flexibility and also faster decision making. So that's great. And what about the HMI reviews?
Yes, for that we have another example prepared here. So the video begins with just a short chapter on showing different design variations, showing kinematics in mixed reality, switching of variants, etc. So here you see different outer paint materials being applied and switched. And now I'm bringing the product into a larger scale. And I'll move it around a little bit so that I'm able to enter the cockpit, basically. Now we've reached one-on-one scale. And now inside here, we have this designed concept for an HMI layout. And similar to what I said about the color and trim example, here you're really able to see very small details in a proposal. So for instance, all of these, this grid pattern that's overlaid on the terrain here, you can still see all of the details in it when you're wearing the headset. You can make accurate decisions on the readability of pictograms, of small icons. You could even enable the eye tracking feature in the headset to see where a person is looking at when you show them an HMI concept to validate. And then here we also see the hand occlusion or the depth map occlusion feature that the headset brings based on the LiDAR sensors that Miika has mentioned earlier. And this brings two benefits. First of all, you're able to see your own hands while you're working in a review scenario. This gives you a much better sense of scale because your hands are a very familiar size reference. You see them all the time. And also what the depth occlusion allows is to correctly composite your hands with the 3D data. So here you see that the joystick occludes parts of my hand because I've moved it behind. If I moved it in front, I would see it completely again. And this allows to do very easy reachability studies by just positioning yourself in the correct place within your product. And then you can just try to very naturally reach things and touch them with your hands. And you will see where your fingers begin to clip away that you've now reached the actual geometry. And I think regarding the occlusion map that we see here, there's also an improvement upcoming from the Varjo side. Do you want to say a few words on that, Miika?
Yeah, absolutely. So like Michael mentioned, this will definitely, having this occlusion with the LiDAR sensors definitely is helpful for making the design decisions. And that's something we will be greatly improving the accuracy of that occlusion in the next couple of months with software update coming up. So looking forward to seeing that as well.
Yeah, and it's very impressive actually to see the accuracy and the precision in VR. You can see the nice materials or the precise icons on the dashboard, for instance, as you presented, Michael. And to continue regarding the immersion, the immersive aspect, does it feel real when you put on the headset and find yourself in the vehicle, for instance?
Yes, it's a very immersive setup. And we have another example prepared here also with a small trick to make it even more believable. So here we see an example from, again, our application product perception experience where we have this virtual motorbike in our office. And here, one thing we did to increase the believability of the setup was to capture an HDR of the actual office that we're doing the review in. And this allows us to have, first of all, a very consistent lighting between our room and the virtual data that we're superimposing on it. But it also allows us to have the reflection map that you see very well here in this headlamp part. And those things together, they make for an extremely believable setup. So we often observe after demos that when people take off the headset, they still expect the product to be in front of them. So that's a good sign that it's a very believable review scenario. And then I would like to conclude with one more demonstration video. So here we're starting in a pure VR situation. So you can always choose if you want to run the headset in VR or mixed reality. And here we're combining the high resolution rendering for the XR4 with our new ray traced real-time reflections for interactive mirror studies in virtual or mixed reality. So here you see that with our up-to-date render engine, we can reach very good frame rates with real-time reflections enabled. You can even interact with mirror surfaces. You can adjust the angle to make an assessment of the field of view that it gives you with different sizes and seating positions. And you can also see that reflections are not only working accurately for planar mirrors like this part here, but also curved mirrors will give you a physically accurate reflection to evaluate visibilities in your product.
All right, thank you very much, Miika and Michael, for these explanations. I hope it helps our viewers to better understand the powerful capabilities of Varjo headset, especially the XR4 that you presented, on CATIA on the 3D Experience platform. And its application for the different types of review we saw today, the color and trim, HMI, and mixed reality, can really help designers and engineers in their workflow to accurately and precisely assess the result of their product, and also to make the necessary adjustments at any time during the design process. So now I think it's time to open the Q&A session. We encourage you to take advantage of the presence of our experts today. So please don't hesitate to ask your questions in the chat and we will answer them.
I see there were a couple questions on which application was used.
Yes, exactly. Do you want to develop?
Yeah, Jonathan already made a couple of good guesses. In many of the examples, it was actually a product perception experience, so PPX is the trigram for that. But in fact, it doesn't really make a difference which application you're using. So the way how virtual and mixed reality on 3D experience works is we provide a generic HMD command that is integrated in almost all of our 3D applications. So you could do it in CATIA assembly design, but you could also run a mixed reality review if you were a Delmia user or a Simulia user or whatever. If there is an application from that brand on the 3D experience platform, then chances are very high that you will get at least the basic level of virtual reality support. And then for all of the examples that we saw where I was switching through variants, where we had interactive product motion, where we had kinematics, etc., in that case, it was PPX.
Okay, so basically, what version of the 3D experience is needed to work with the XR4?
So full support for the XR4 was provided with 3D Experience 2024X FD03. And for the predecessor, for the XR3 series, support started with 2023X FD04.
Okay, so I hope it helps our viewers to better understand how the Varjo headset can be used in CATIA and in the 3D Experience platform. I think there was another question in the chat. Is the setup easy to install, easy to use, I guess? So
I can maybe talk a little bit about on the Varjo side, and Michael can add up more about the 3D experience side of things. But you need a couple of things to run the XR4 device. You need a powerful PC. We typically recommend high-end graphic cards such as the RTX 4090 or on the Quadro side, things like the Ada cards and such. So we recommend a fairly powerful PC and also with a good CPU. So you need a PC. Then you also need to download from the Varjo side a software called Varjo Base, which is running the device. So you needed those things. You need a Varjo device, PC, and then the Varjo software. But fairly easy to set up those, and you connect it via DisplayPort cable and a USB-C cable to the computer. So fairly easy setup from that perspective.
And on the 3D experience side, it's also very similar. So you have additional options that you can choose because, for instance, an HTC Vive doesn't give you mixed reality. So when you have a Varjo headset connected, you will have the option to choose between VR and XR. And also you will be able to adjust the depth sensor range. So you can specify that you want it to start directly from the headset or that it should just start creating an occlusion mask like a couple of centimeters away from the user. But besides that, the usage is almost identical.
Okay, yeah, it's very clear. Thank you. I hope it helps to better understand the use in the setup. I see another question in the chat. Can you use the Varjo headset in CATIA V5 as well?
You can. You have two options depending on your use case. If you're more in an engineering environment and if you already have access to TechVis, which is a partner of us, then you can use that to use the V5 render engine to create a VR environment with the Varjo headsets on V5. If you're more in a design use case where you have a need for high quality materials, etc., then I can recommend to take a look at CATIA Power By, which basically allows you to continue designing your things in V5, but creates a connection to 3D experience where you can then apply high quality materials and will have access to all of the VR features that we have shown today.
Okay, and I think we have made a CATIA talk a few years ago about the integration of Varjo headsets in CATIA V5. So we will post the link after the live session, and you will be able to get more information about this question in more detail. Any other questions? Maybe one or two before to end the live session. Okay, another question. Where can I try the XR4 with 3D Experience CATIA?
Yeah, I can maybe take that one. There's a few options. There is a 3D Experience lab near Paris in Vélizy, run by Dassault Systems. They have an XR4 device there, so that would be definitely a good option. Then on the Varjo side, we have a few different offices where you could also try the XR4 with the 3D Experience platform and CATIA. You could try those in our Germany office in Munich. You could try it in our Helsinki office where I'm located in Finland. You could try it in our Washington, D.C. office in the US. And then we have a few resellers also across the globe in North America, Europe, and Asia Pacific as well. And some of them have access to CATIA as well and 3D Experience platform to showcase you that. So those would be a few options. But feel free to contact us or Dassault Systems and we can arrange that.
Yes, very exactly. I see one last question. What does it take to start VR from a CATIA app? Push button or I need to script something?
There's no need to script anything. We always provide an HMD command in the AR/VR section of your action bar. And then for some applications like product perception experience, there is its own dedicated VR command that brings a bit more interactivity, like controlling variants, etc.
Okay. Yeah, it's a question that comes back very often. Is it easy to install? It's really plug and play actually, and you just have to push a button. So it's very, very intuitive and easy to install and to use.
Yeah. And maybe I can also just add there myself, I'm not a pro user of CATIA or 3D Experience by any means, but I have managed to set it up and it's very easy from that perspective. And there are also a few settings that are worth looking at to make it optimal for Varjo in 3D Experience platform. So for that, you can contact either the Dassault Systems team or us. But yeah, there are a few settings that also are recommended for that setup, but very easy to use overall, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I don't see any other question, I think. So we can close the Q&A session for today. Thank you, Miika and Michael, for your time and participation. And a special thanks to all of you who watched this talk and joined us. We hope that you found this webinar informative and engaging, and inspired you exploring new design possibilities with CATIA. If you want to watch the replay of this talk, you can visit our CATIA Creative Design and Styling community, whose link now appears at the bottom of your screen, right here. You will be able there to access all the information you need on CATIA, including VR tutorials and best practices. But more importantly, you will be able to continue the conversation and ask your questions, if you still have, to Miika, Michael, and other experts directly there. And if you haven't joined it yet, it's really simple. You just have to create an account with an email address and a password, then you log in. We appreciate your participation and feedback, and we look forward to seeing you again at our next CATIA Design Talk. Until then, have a great day and keep innovating with CATIA. Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.